I supported my mom financially for 5 years, but she kicked me out as soon as my other sister returned with a child, only to find out she kidnapped him. 5 years back, my older sister Jackie ran away with her deadbeat college dropout boyfriend Scott. She was 20 at the time, he was 21, and they'd been together for 5 years by then. The two of them had been inseparable since school, and my family had never approved of him because he had always been up to no good. He was not particularly good at academics and was constantly getting in trouble at school, and in high school he started smoking and drinking and doing everything that one should not do. My parents always wanted her to break up with him, but she was determined to be with him, and there was not much that we could do because even when we would fight about him, she would still go see him afterwards. It didn't matter to her that he was not the right kind of person for her. Then we lost my father 5 years back to a massive cardiac arrest. I had just turned 19 at the time, and I still remember feeling like my world had been turned upside down. Even then, Jackie refused to cut down on her time with Scott and even invited him to the funeral, knowing that we did not have a good relationship with him. At the funeral, he was high as a kite, and that was where we drew the line. My mother and I told her that we would not entertain this anymore, and she had to choose between us. So she ran away with him just because we had said that we were not going to support her and fund her lifestyle as she continued to be with him. It was very difficult for us to come to terms with, but she was an adult and we could not stop her. So for the past 5 years, we have had no contact with her since she was the one who cut us off. After my father passed away, I decided not to go to college because I wanted to work and financially support my family. My mother had been a stay-at-home mom all along and she could work, but I did not want her to. She had even offered to take up a job as a secretary and then send me to college, but we had had a comfortable life so far and I did not want to compromise that. Besides, my dad had also been working since he was 18 as well and had never even gone to college. So if he could do it, so could I, and I had faith in myself. I started small and got a low-income job as an intern, but then I worked my way up and now I'm pretty comfortable. I work in sales and I would like to believe that I have been able to maintain the standard of living that my father had left for me. Of course, it also helped that he had left us a certain amount of money when he passed away, so we were able to survive on that as well when I was not earning much. My mother was also very helpful in the beginning. She did everything in her power to make sure that I did not need to do any of the household chores when I came home from work and was just overall very resourceful. We have tried our best to do well for ourselves in the past 5 years. And even though we did miss Jackie, there was not much that we could do about that. Even though I have been the breadwinner of the household for the past 5 years and have been financially supporting my mother, I always knew that she really missed Jackie since Jackie had always been her favorite from the beginning. She never treated me badly, but it was obvious that she had a soft corner for her elder daughter. When she ran away, there was a huge void in my mother's heart and I was aware of it. She never talked about her. She stopped pretending like she had another daughter and it was just the two of us. I had gotten used to that. But then about 10 days ago, Jackie and a young boy who could not have been older than 3 or 4 years old showed up at our doorstep after 5 years. Both my mother and I had been at home at the time and they showed up. When I saw the two of them through the eye hole, I was shocked. However, my mother did not even wait to discuss it with me. She just opened the door as soon as I told her who it was. She did not wait to consult whether I wanted them inside the house or not. But I could forgive that since I could sense that she was really worried and excited at the same time. At the end of the day, she was still a mother. She immediately hugged and welcomed her in, along with the little boy who she claimed was her son. The two of them looked worse for the wear and Jackie had literally shrunk to half her size. It was very obvious that they had been suffering for a really long time because their clothes were really dirty and old. They had also been patched up in weird places and I could see that their hair was also greasy and it looked like they hadn't been able to shower for days. But the most concerning of all was her body, which looked really upsetting since she had lost a lot of weight and was looking really bony. Jackie had always been plump and seeing her like this was shocking. There were bags under her eyes and gosh, it was just really pathetic to look at them. I remember feeling very uneasy when I saw her for the first time after 5 years. And I can't even describe to you guys how awful it felt. I could tell that she had obviously not been in the best living conditions for the past few years, and it really showed. So even though I was skeptical about letting them in, I could not blame my mother for bringing them inside. As soon as they were inside, my mom forgot all about everything that happened in the past and immediately started talking to them and comforting them because she knew that they had been through a lot. Jackie then started telling us that after she and Scott had run away together, it had been difficult for them because he was a college dropout and she had also dropped out at that point, and there was nobody to offer them jobs. It was still easier for me since I used my family's connections to get my first internship, but she did not have anybody helping her out. After some weeks of struggle and literally living hand to mouth, they were able to find really low-income jobs for themselves, and that's how they've been living for the past few years. They had switched jobs a couple of times but had not been able to move up like I had, and so things were really bad for the two of them for quite some time. Jackie and Scott had been fighting a lot in the recent past, and especially after their son had been born, things had gone from bad to worse and he had ended up cheating and kicking her out of the house a couple of weeks ago. With nowhere else to go, she had come to the only place that she knew she would be accepted, which was back home. She wanted to ask us to forgive her for everything that they had put us through and take them back into our lives. I wanted to discuss it with my mother before committing to anything. But before I could even say that I needed a moment to discuss this, she told them that they did not need to worry about anything anymore because now they were back and she was going to take care of them. I found that a little shocking because I was the one who was earning, so it was technically something that I would definitely have to be a part of, and I felt like this was something that we needed to discuss. But she had already said that, and Jackie seemed so happy that I did not feel like raining on their parade. It was not until later, when they had gone to freshen up, that I pulled my mother aside and I asked her if she was serious about this. Because for 5 years we had not been in touch with them and we didn't even know exactly how they had managed to get themselves in such a bad state. From what they had told us, they had had jobs in the past, so they should have been able to save some money at the very least and be able to live decently. However, from the looks of it, it seemed like they had been spending their money on something else altogether. And I had a sneaking suspicion that she might have been into drugs or something, because there was no way that they had jobs in the past and were still looking like that. If they were into shady and illegal things, I did not want to accept them back into our lives so quickly and thought that we needed some time to think about this. But my mother was not on board with that. She told me that after 5 years, my sister had finally come back home and now it was her family's duty and responsibility to make sure that she was well taken care of. My mother made it very clear to me that she was not interested in whatever she had been up to in the past, and now that she was back, it was a clear sign that she wanted to get her life back on track. If she had not wanted that, she wouldn't even have come back in the first place. So now we could not turn our backs on her when she was asking for our help and be mistrustful and weird. She had a point, so I decided to give it a chance. Even though I did not fully trust the two of them, I got to live together with them for just 2 days and I was kind of worried about how things would turn out in the future. But just 2 days after they had returned, my mother sat me down when she was out looking for jobs and her son was napping, and then she told me that she wanted me to find a place of my own now that my sister was back. I was dumbstruck because I definitely could not understand her reasoning. But she told me that our house only had 2 rooms. While I had a room for myself, she had been sleeping on the couch for the past 2 days while Jackie and her son had taken up the other room. Since the child didn't feel comfortable enough on the couch, it was causing a lot of problems for her back. So she wanted me to move out and have my own life and an apartment of my own. I suggested that maybe Jackie could stay in the living room if it was becoming a problem for her. But she told me that she did not want that because she wanted them to feel accepted in the family and she couldn't force them out of that room and make them stay in the living room with no privacy or comfort after she had already offered to let them have it. I found that very offensive because she was basically kicking me out after I had supported her for 5 years and had been the only person who was there for her. But now, just because her daughter was back, she had completely forgotten about me and only cared about their comfort and their privacy or whatever. Jealousy wouldn't be the word that I would use for myself at that moment, but I was definitely very pissed off and kind of humiliated. I guess I just felt betrayed by the way that she was acting. And instead of trying to understand where I was coming from, she decided to accuse me of being jealous of Jackie and said that she knew that I had always had a problem with her. But the way that I was behaving was not acceptable. She was acting like I was someone who was jealous and insecure of Jackie coming back and even said that I had had her all to myself for so many years and that should be enough for me. So there was no need for me to act like this now. She said she just wanted me to make one little sacrifice for the well-being of Jackie and her son since they had been through a lot and it had been unimaginable. So I needed to cut them some slack. It turned into a really bad fight and I decided to pack up my things and leave that very day. It has been a few days since then and I've been living with a friend since I can't find any apartments on such short notice. But I feel like I can't go back to living with my mother anyway because of what happened 4 days ago. After I left, I decided not to speak to my mother because she had really pissed me off and I was feeling very upset. So I muted her and I also blocked Jackie. I did not want anybody to be able to have access to me and so I did not know what was going on after I had left. Then I received a call from my mother 4 days ago and she was in tears. So I obviously got very concerned about her. She told me that the police had shown up at our house and had placed Jackie under arrest and she was in their custody. From the looks of it, even she was under investigation. I was shocked to find out about that because I knew that there was something shady going on, but I had not expected her to get arrested so soon. When my mother told me the real reason why she had been placed under arrest, I was even more shocked. Because apparently the kid that she had brought along with herself was not even hers. He was not her son, but he was definitely Scott's son. And she had basically just kidnapped him and made a run for it to get back at him or whatever. It was completely unhinged. And when I found out about this whole story from my mother, I knew that this was serious. And she was obviously calling to enlist my help. My mother told me that apparently the kid that she had brought along was the child that Scott had brought home when he had decided to kick her out. That was his son with his affair partner and Jackie had been really upset about it. So when she got kicked out, she decided to kidnap him. The poor kid was just 3 years old and he hadn't exactly been taught anything about such situations. So he just came along with Jackie since she'd apparently convinced him that she was taking him to Disneyland and then started threatening him to keep his mouth shut around us or she'd make sure he never got home. The cops had been looking for her for a really long time, but she had been practically untraceable because she did not have a phone or anything of the sort. Eventually they were able to find her out and I'm thankful for that. It was crazy and I told my mother that she should have really discussed things with me before allowing Jackie and that kid to move in with us. Because now she was going to be investigated as well. Even though the cops were not going to suspect anything since we had not been in touch for so long, it was still going to ruin her reputation if people found out about it. On the phone call, she told me that she wanted me to help her find a lawyer and prove that she was not involved in any of this. I told her that I would do that, but it would mean that she would have to stop speaking to Jackie because she had put our family in a really difficult spot and I didn't appreciate that. But my mother thought that it was an unreasonable demand because no matter what she had done, Jackie was still our family. She expected me to help her as well and thinks that we should testify against Scott when the trial begins and try to save my sister. That's where we disagreed and we had a really bad argument on the phone because I was not on board with that. I think Jackie deserves to be punished for what she did. Being cheated on feels bad, I know that, and I know that it probably makes people feel like crap. But that's not an excuse to literally kidnap a child and then put your family in danger as well. That is unhinged behavior and I don't feel like helping her out and becoming the bad guy in the process. So I made things very clear to my mother. But she said I was just letting my jealousy and insecurity show yet again and said that she wished she had raised somebody with more compassion than me. My mother started acting like I was the villain here and now I'm seriously considering if I actually am or not. Because I feel bad and I don't know what to do. AITA for refusing to help my estranged sister stay out of jail? Update. 1. So 3 days have passed since I posted my update here. I would just like to thank everybody who took out the time to respond to my original post. That's really kind of you guys. Anyway, after reading the comments and thinking about stuff on my own, I decided I was going to do my duty to my mother and put her in contact with a good lawyer that I knew. Because I did not want her to suffer. But at the same time, if she chooses to help Jackie out and represent her as well, I'm going to ask her to back off. My only duty is to my mother, not to Jackie. She abandoned our family long ago, and I no longer feel the need to justify or stand by her. If my mother does, that's her own business. I don't want to interfere with that, but then again, I don't feel the same way and I have been very clear on that front. I cannot believe that my mother tried to gaslight me and make me believe that I was the bad guy for not wanting to help out my sister, who is literally a kidnapper. That was really unfair of her. But anyway, I can't help the situation now. I'm still living with a friend and trying to look for an apartment just so that I can be distracted from all of this. I know my mom will not go to jail. She has nothing to do with any of this, and everybody knows that. We have not even been on speaking terms with Jackie for the past couple of years. But then, I'm always worried for her. Even though we're not on speaking terms right now, I'm still worried for her, because it has just been the two of us for so long. After my father, she was the only person who was there for me. So I do have a relationship with her, and it's very important to me. But I don't know. The only thing I can take solace in right now is that the lawyer that I have contacted and put her in touch with is a solid woman, and she has had plenty of experience in keeping people out of prison. So I'm counting on her. She's also agreed to help me out and lower her charges for me specifically, since I'm really good friends with her brother and we work together. Her brother has reassured me that everything is going to be fine, and I'm taking their word for it. Until then, however, I'm going to make sure I don't speak to my mother. Since she hasn't shown any interest in speaking to me after I had that phone call with her the other day. Even after the lawyer contacted her and agreed to help her and allow her to represent my mother, she still didn't even call me to thank me for what I did for her. So I don't know how to feel about any of that. But I'm just hoping that she comes around. Let me know if you'd like this reworded into a more polished story upload format for your channel. Update 2. Hello. So the trial against Jackie has begun and it's going to be really intense for my mother. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be easy for her to watch her favorite daughter being persecuted. She has not tried to get in touch with me after that phone call that we had the other day, even though she is working with the lawyer that I put her in touch with to represent her. Like I said in my previous update as well, I had been expecting her to contact me to at least just thank me, but nothing of the sort has happened. Anyway, I did what I had to do as her daughter and now it's not my business anymore. Since she has made it very clear to me that she doesn't want me to be a part of her life. Up until a couple of days ago we were not on speaking terms, but at least she did not have me blocked everywhere. However, I found out recently that she had blocked me on Facebook and had even blocked my number. Because I tried to call her to confront her about blocking me on social media, and then I realized that my phone number was blocked as well. I could have contacted her by calling her through my friend's phone number, but it just did not seem worth it, so I let it go. Besides, now that I know that she does not want to speak to me or even let me know what's going on in her life, I received the message loud and clear. I've told the lawyer not to contact me about updates in the trial. My only job was to put her in touch and I did that. And now I don't need to know what's going on and bother myself with it. The search for the apartment has been going well though, since I have been able to finalize one. The rent is a bit high, but now that I don't have to support my mother anymore, I guess I'll be able to afford it. Initially, I'd been worried about what was going to happen to my mother now that she does not have anyone to financially support her, but I figured that she must have thought about it since she had been so confident in kicking me out and cutting me out of her life. I'm just hoping that she doesn't come back to me in order to get financial support from me, because I'm not going to continue with that after the level of disrespect that she has shown me. I'm just glad in a few days I'll be able to get out of my friend's hair, because I think I've bothered her for long enough. And even though she insists that I can live with her for as long as I need to, I just need some space of my own and think about what's going on in my life right now. Because a lot has happened over the past few weeks, and I'm yet to process it. So I might take a few days off from work as well and just try to sit with my feelings for a bit. I really need that. Update 3. Hi. It's been 2 months since the trial against Jackie started, and she's on her own right now. It was proven pretty quickly that my mother had nothing to do with this situation and she was not aware of the fact that the child that Jackie had brought along with herself was not actually her son. She and her lawyer were able to prove that she was not involved in any of this, and after clearing the charges, the lawyer told her to convey her thankfulness to me. When I was told about it, I was very upset because she surely could have reached out to me to tell me about this. But even after 2 months she didn't want to talk to me. I don't even understand what she's so mad about, since it's been proven that Jackie is the bad guy here and I was right for not wanting to help her. I really want to confront her about it, but I don't know if it's worth it or not. I've been struggling with this dilemma for the past few days because ever since the lawyer reached out to me and said that this is what my mother had to say, I've been having mixed feelings about what to do. My life is going smoothly right now. I have a decent job and I'm about to get promoted at work. I have my own apartment and I've been living by myself for the past couple of months, which has been nice. Lonely, sure, but really nice. I have even started seeing somebody for the past few weeks, so everything is on track. But I feel like I really miss my mom. And I know that most people in the comments section have said that she is really toxic and I need to keep her out of my life, but she's still my mother. And I guess you guys are forgetting that after my father passed away, she was the only person I had. We had other family members as well, but then the only person who could actually feel and share my grief was her, and I really do miss her. Even though what happened recently was not right, in spite of knowing that, I still miss her. And the least I can do is at least get some sense of closure and have one last conversation with her, which is not on the phone. So I've really been considering reaching out to her and meeting her just once. Update 4. Hi, so some of you really encouraged me to talk to my mother if I really missed her that much and at least get some sense of closure after I made my post last week. After thinking for a couple more days, I finally decided to reach out to her. I noticed that she had unblocked my number when I tried to call her, and she even answered the phone very quickly. I spoke to her on the phone and I arranged a meeting with her the very next day. I went over to my house to meet her. She welcomed me with a hug and started crying as soon as she saw me. She said that she was really sorry about the way that she had treated me, but she had seen Jackie after so long and things just stopped making sense in her head, and she had started acting like a total fool. I didn't even have to say anything in my defense. She agreed that every single thing that I had said had been right and she was the one who had been wrong. She literally begged me to forgive her and said that she did not have anybody apart from me, and she had realized that her soft spot for Jackie had caused her to turn a blind eye to how psychotic she had been. But during the trial, she had realized that Jackie had not just been harmful to herself, but her actions had hurt the family. And I was right in not wanting to help her or have any contact with her. Just because she's related to me by blood does not mean that she respects that bond, and we don't need to respect it either at the cost of our sanity. She told me that she had conceived Jackie after a lot of struggles, and that's why she always thought of her as special, but she now knows that she was wrong and she should not have treated me that way. I was not surprised about the fact that she confessed to having a soft spot. Everyone had known that all along. But when she told me that she was going to try and work on this and wanted our relationship to get better, I was really happy. I know that she's not doing it for the money because for the past 10 months since I had left, her brother was the one who had been supporting her. She had even tried to get a job working from home in her brother's company, which is what she's doing now. So I know that this is all genuine and she really wants to make things better between us. However, we have decided to stick to living separately for a while, because living alone has given me a new sense of perspective, and I can't always be living in my childhood home with my mom. I need to get out of there and live my own life as well. So we have decided to keep in touch and just wing it for the next few months and see how it goes. But yes, I'm going to try and fix my relationship with my mother, and I hope that things work out for us.